I bought this iPhone 15 from eBay broken and I want to see if I can fix it and then flip it. Look at the back, the screen is shattered to bits. It still turns on. I'm amazed for how broken it is. There's a big old dent in the frame. I'm not quite sure if that's going to cause me an issue, but we'll look into it as we go along through the repair. Let's see if we can fix it, but let's check it out here. It looks like Face ID is disabled. We'll find out if we can fix that or not. If not, we'll figure it out later on. All right, so we will power off the device and then grab out our P2 bit and remove the two screws from the bottom. And we will take off the back first. I'm concerned about the battery inside of it. This is Dry Savers, my new sponsor. Check them out. Use my reference code to get a free quote today. And if they can't get data, you don't get charged anything. All right, so we're going to heat up the back first, and then we'll see if we can pry it off. We'll pry it off from the bottom, and we'll just start where there's that big giant crack. So grab our metal pry tool and just pry right here on the bottom, and this big crack came off. And it looks like someone has opened up the phone where all the cracks are and everything. So anyways, I just open it all the way up and find out that the battery is very damaged, and that's going to need replaced too while we do this repair. I was kind of concerned about the battery. It looked kind of like a fire hazard to me. And anyways, we will grab our Y000 screwdriver and unscrew the 3 screws holding down the brackets, holding down the battery connection and the back glass connection. The Y000 screws are in yellow, and I want to point out, throughout my channel, I have color-coded screws, so it makes it easier for you to remember which screwdriver to use for which color. This bracket is the easy one. You just lift it up from the bottom and just flip it out, just like so. And then the top bracket is going to be a lot more complicated, but we're going to disconnect the battery first. And it's this plus and minus sign little connection here. You can't get to it with a good angle like this, so reach around behind the glass and lift it up a little bit, and you can disconnect it just like this. Perfect. We got it disconnected. Now we can move on to getting off that other bracket. And there are multiple different ways of seeing how to take this off. The way I do it is I push the bracket with my tweezers up on the screw hole and slide it down towards the bottom of the phone. You can push it with a flat end spudger as well, and it's going to flip out really fast, and you might lose it if it pops out too fast. So then you can just lift it out like so. Putting it back together, whole different story. Very hard. All right, we'll disconnect the wireless charging pad, the flashlight from the back glass, right here in this blue connection. All you need is a little imagination in your heart, and anyone can fix something. So I used my chisel blade to remove the glass around the edges, but I was really nervous around the battery because it was so expanded, and I was worried I was going to pierce the battery, so I pulled it out like a crazy gorilla. I used a little bit of heat and some alcohol to get it pried out, and I wanted to let you know that the battery looked like it might have smoked up a little bit, and it wasn't in the video. So then I was kind of in a hurry to get the battery out because I didn't want this mistake to be an unhappy mistake. Perfect, we cleaned all the edges. Now it's time to pry off the screen. We heated it up for 10 minutes on our heating pad, which isn't in the video. I apologize for that. And I wanted to let you know you start with a metal pry tool and then get a plastic guitar pick and then work your way around the edges in a rotating motion. So then it will come off perfectly, and then you'll be able to open up the phone. Open it up from the right to the left, and then there's going to be 2 Y000 screws that you'll have to remove from each bracket, and these brackets are a lot easier to handle than the ones on the other side, especially when you're putting it back together. Alright, you guys, so I bought this iPhone 15 and I have an iPhone 16, so I think I'm going to make a video of a comparison of the two. And I really enjoyed repairing this phone, but I honestly enjoyed repairing the iPhone 16 more. And I think the iPhone 16 is very similar, but more repairable. But we'll find out as I have this iPhone 15. I'm going to make more videos about how to repair certain things like the charge port, the camera. We're going to try to fix Face ID. All right, let's disconnect the screen in blue and the proximity sensor as well with our flat end of our spudger. Time to grab out your PH000 screwdriver bit and unscrew the one screw holding down the bracket that holds down the proximity sensor. You'll want to lift it up in a motion. My hand kind of blocks it in a left to right motion, and then I'm going to get some tweezers and pick them up here and keep them nice and organized, all these parts, and we'll heat it up for about 19 seconds on the lowest setting with a heat gun of your choice. And then we'll use some alcohol, and my alcohol applying tool is kind of malfunctioning a little bit and wasn't really doing enough, but 1 drop is all you need of alcohol, and then use a plastic pry tool like a plastic spudger and plastic guitar pick to remove the proximity sensor just like this, so then you don't break something. And hopefully, if I'm able to get this off right, maybe I'll be able to restore Face ID when I put it on the new screen, and I'm not quite sure if it's going to yet. All right, so we're going to use our tweezers to lift up on the proximity sensor slowly, and you don't want to add alcohol to this part because you don't want it to erode it. This is the part that from mobilecentrics.com. I bought the screen, and this is the aftermarket version. That's an OLED, and I really think it's still a great screen. It's like an X7, I believe is the name. And you could always buy the part from injuredgadgets.com, or iFixit probably has it as well. I don't buy parts from those places very often, but when I do, they're still reliable. Or you could buy the part from Apple and pay an arm and a leg. Who cares about the screen message as long as the screen works, in my mind? This screen comes with a pre-cut adhesive that you put around the edges of the phone, and then also packing material on the back of the screen that you're going to want to make sure you remove when you install the proximity sensor. We will put down the adhesive and then use our flat end of our spudger to push it down and adhere it to it. And I'm going to move any broken glass off my desk, and so then I can lay down the proximity sensor on the new screen on a nice clean desk instead of on top of some broken glass and scratch it all up. And then this metal bracket, you'll want to just put it on just like this, or you clip it on the edge and then lay it down flat. And it's giving me a hard time here, so I'm just going to keep trying, and I want to show you when you put it back together that it might not go back together as easy as it comes apart. So for the new battery, we'll pull the adhesive tabs, connect the battery onto the connector, then we'll lay it down. After we do that, we'll disconnect the battery, and then we'll get ready to connect the screen to give it a good test. Now time to connect the screen, and we'll test it all out afterwards. Connect the proximity sensor first, and then you'll connect the screen, and then connect the battery and turn it on and give it a good test before screwing down the rest of the phone. After testing it and finding out my charger was actually bad, but I just turn it off and then I get ready to put on the back. Before we put it on the back, we got to finish putting on the screen. So we got to put down all the brackets and use our Y000 screwdriver and screw them all down. Just watch the video and I'll show you how to put on these brackets. You just kind of slide them on, and then it's hard to explain. You just slide them on, and anyways, we're going to pull our adhesive tabs and then get ready to lay down the screen. And we'll pull the tabs, and I lay down the screen initially, and then I notice as I'm putting the screen down that bend in the frame won't allow it to lay flush to the phone. So in a panic, I grab a suction cup and then pull off the screen. And when I took the suction cup and lifted off the screen, I was actually quite worried that I thought I broke it when I pulled it off, because I pulled it off pretty hard and it came off really quick. I'll grab out my pliers, and then we're just going to bend back the frame just enough that the screen can lay down, and we'll try to bend it just enough and not too much where we're breaking the frame. Here's the big moment where we lay down the screen and it fit. It worked perfectly. That was worth it. For sure, worth it repairs. We grab out our back glass, and the back glass is from Mobile Centrics, and I want to recommend buying the OEM version because it comes with the Apple logo and the wireless charging pad pre-installed. If it's not pre-installed, it is really hard to replace and take off. Now we're going to lay down the adhesive for the back glass and make sure there is no broken glass around the edges when you lay this down, because you don't want any unevenness. We'll connect the back glass and then connect on the battery after we get this pesky bracket on. This bracket is a pain in the butt to get back on, and you'll have to just kind of slide it back in to maneuver it into place, and eventually you'll get it on. It looks a lot easier in the video. Just saying, you're going to struggle with it a ton, and you might end up actually not putting it on. And I highly recommend you should put it on, because if anything comes loose inside, then it doesn't break free and your connection doesn't get lost. Nice. We get to connect the battery and then lay down the bracket with the two Y000 screws and screw it back together. Pull the adhesive tabs, lay the back glass down, and put the P2 screwdriver screws in. Well, this has been a long video for me, you guys, and I really enjoyed the repair, and I think I'm going to be able to flip it. We'll find out once we post this video, and I also am planning on doing a ton of different repairs to the phone just to have a dummy to have some good repair content. So follow the history of the phone on my channel. Please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. Share if you want someone to learn how to repair their phone. We'll take a look at the final product here once I get this final screw in. And I don't have any clamps right now handy, so I didn't clamp it down at all. You can see the big dent on the side, but once you zoom out, you can hardly tell it's there, but it is there. It's not a big deal. I feel like I can still flip the phone even without replacing the frame, but maybe I should. Maybe I'll do that in my next video. We'll find out. And it looks like I need some clamps to clamp it down. It's coming up a little bit, but this phone looks almost perfect. Everything's working but Face ID, so that's going to be something I'm going to have to figure out in another video. Thank you for watching.